What's up, fight fans? Welcome to another edition of In the Cage. My name is Ali Mokdad, and I'm here, the pioneer of MMA in the region, as well as the owner and founder of Contender MMA training facility in Dubai, Tam Khan. Welcome.
How you doing?
Good. Good. So we're going to be giving you our UFC predictions for UFC 134 in Rio. It's the first time to come back in 13 years. It's probably one of the biggest cards the UFC has put on, next to the one in Toronto, which was GSP and Shields, and that clocked in about 55,000. More than 55,000 spectators.
Highest live attendance, I think it was.
Yeah, and Rio is going to be up there. I mean, they're putting that up there with the Olympics as well as the World Cup, which will also be in Rio. So this is a big event for Rio de Janeiro.
It's the first time, I think, in over 10 years.
13 years.
Yeah.
And it's a big event for the UFC as well as for MMA. We got some great fighters on there. And before we get into the predictions, I just wanted to talk to you because you're a fighter and you know about this. Now, you always see these guys from Brazil. They're coming in and they're fighting in the US or in Germany and Japan and whatnot. But this is going to be something different. Actually, a majority of the fights are Brazilians versus non-Brazilians. So you're getting a lot of these non-Brazilians coming in. And
sounds funny, doesn't it? Non-Brazilians fighting.
Yeah.
No, I think this is going to be, it's like history. I mean, the whole card, I think the majority of the events have Brazilian guys fighting non-Brazilians. I think that's for the crowd themselves. Because you understand, Brazil's economy is booming now, but many years ago it was obviously lacking. And I think when they see their stars leave America, Japan, and fight abroad, obviously they're their heroes. You know, like David Beckham is in football to the UK. So you want to see your national team, your national guys represent your country. And so I think Dana White and Fertitta Price did that as a gift, you know, to Brazilian fans, brought their favourites for the crowd to just get behind them. And I think it's going to be similar to, remember Muhammad Ali fought George Foreman, Rumble in the Jungle, Zaire, you know, his whole nation, going back to Africa and fighting amongst his own people, you know. It's going to have that kind of stuff. I mean, when you hear, I think the ovation's going to be crazy, like in Toronto, when Montreal was at Toronto, where GSP fought against the Shields. I think it's going to be electric. I'm just depressed that I'm not there. I mean, I wish I was there.
Oh, me too. Talk to us about the fighter's mindset. Now, a lot of the fighters, what will they do? Will they get there a week before? Will they start training? Will they adapt themselves? I mean, there's so many things to take into consideration. Even talking about, when the Brazilians come to the States, they deal with visa issues, translators, all that stuff. What is the fighter's mindset now going from the States to Brazil? The tables will almost turn now.
I mean, the visas, those issues that agents, managers will take care of, they won't, fighters don't get involved with that, those issues. But the mindset of acclimatising and training, that's very important. Like, for example, when you go to a country with different climate, I mean, it's a different season now. I think it's Southern Hemisphere, so in Brazil it's winter time. So, I mean, they'll acclimatise, they'll go there a bit earlier. A majority of fighters will go maybe 2 to 3 weeks before. Just to acclimatise, get used to your body clock changing, the hours, training, get used to the climate, the areas, and just feeling the mix there. Some fighters even go the last week. I mean, some guys will go the last week and just perform and go and just prepare just the last soft workouts. The hard work's all been done by now. It's the last week. So now they'll be just doing public workouts, but I haven't really checked out when they're early, but the majority of fighters probably would have been there 2 to 3 weeks before. The Brazilian guys probably based out there. Obviously, that's their hometown, so they must have some home centre gyms there. So for them, it's an advantage. For the non-Brazilians, I mean, you can see it this way, it's nothing to lose. To them, it's just out of town, new country, no pressure for them, you know? So you can see it in two ways, but it's very important to acclimatise physically and mentally, just to get used to the ovation, walking around, you know, see what the place is like.
Tell us about also food. Is food ever a factor? Nutrition, is that ever a factor?
It definitely is, obviously. People at my level, when you get to that kind of level, I mean, they have nutritionists who travel with them, and also I'm sure they're on a specific diet, so they won't be going out in public like we do when we go on holiday. We'll be going eating in public in a restaurant. They won't do that. They won't want to hinder their diets now, catch food poisoning, drink the local water. They won't do that. They'll have specific things that won't change, because a lot of them cut and weight, so they'll have specific meals.
Exactly, yeah. So the last week usually you're cutting weight.
Yeah, you're cutting weight. The last week
is that a stressful thing for them?
Oh, it's everything stressful. The traveling, the training, being away from your family, thinking about the fight, the weight cutting, and because you're cutting all that water and dropping down your meals and you're stressed, you're very agitated and you just want to get the fight over and done with. So this week will be stressful, plus they're doing promos, interviews, so it's very tough. It's not like the old days you can just go fight, pick up your money and go. They're like superstars, you know, so it's tough. it takes a lot out, drain. You want to sit and relax after training at home, sleep, come back, but they've got to do PR, they've got to go around meet the public. It is tough. So these next few days are just going to be crazy for them, especially the Brazilians. They're like gods over there, you know. So I don't know where Anderson or Nogueira will be hiding, but the crowd will be going mad for them.
Well, let's talk about those Brazilians and who they're up against. I've got a list of fighters on for the card for UFC 134. Why don't we start off with Luis Kane and Stanislav Nedkov. I think I just butchered that guy's name.
Stanislav Nedkov. That to me is going to be a very good fight. I'm really interested to see Stanislav in the UFC. I mean, I've seen him on a few shows before, and honestly, the guy is an animal. He's world jiu-jitsu black belt. He's a very, very good wrestler, and he comes from. I mean, as we see in MMA nowadays, wrestling is wrestling is such an important aspect of MMA.
It has become a new base.
Whichever way you want to see it. I mean, I'm a jiu-jitsu background, but it's such a base. If you've got the majority of wrestlers dominate the MMA nowadays, apart from those superstars, those ones who are just a bit over, like the Andersons, who are just special. But I mean, and with his background, I mean, it says they're freestyle wrestling champion, represent Bulgaria. I mean, that's amazing. The Bulgarians are a very strong wrestling team. Olympics, you see freestyle world championships, they're very good. So he's coming strong. I mean, Luis Kane, but he's tough.
Every fight starts standing up. Luis Kane is an aggressive fighter, a great ground technician. He knocked out his first opponent in the first round. Elliot Marshall in the first round. I mean, he's not to be taken lightly. This is no easy fight for Nedkov, is it?
It's no easy fight for Nedkov's first fight, but it's definitely no easy fight for Kane. I mean, Nedkov, he's got to prove a point. I mean, because it's his first fight in the UFC, so I'm sure he's going to be watched to see how he reacts. I mean, Kane, I don't think it'll be his last fight. I mean, Kane's in the. I think he's comfortable there. He's had one loss to Nogueira, I think.
But, UFC 106, he lost to Nogueira, but it wasn't a bad loss actually. I mean,
very good fight. But the thing is with Stanislav, I honestly think he's going to come with the win. I think he's new, he's hungry. He comes from those kind of nations where they don't take pressure. They're very stone cold. They're there to do the business, and I think this is a tough fight for Kane. I mean, he's 12-0 Stanislav or 11-0. Get me wrong, that's correct. And strong wrestler, tough. He's beat guys like Randerman. I think he beat Travis Wolff, with TKO the third. So these are tough guys. So he's fought some big names.
And those are both former UFC fighters.
Fought some big names, great background, strong wrestler, and I think honestly you're going to see a new up-and-coming fighter in the UFC.
My prediction. Who do you got on that one?
Definitely Stanislav. From the clips I've seen and some of the fights on YouTube, the guy looks to me like a beast. I think Kane's tough, but I think the wrestling will be the factor. When you've got that kind of freestyle world championship kind of level wrestling, that's no joke. It's hard to get sparring to deal with a guy like that, you know? And
well, I think because it is his first fight, we see it. You know, these guys, they either get in there and they break under the pressure or they perform. Luis Kane is a veteran. I'm going to go with Luis Kane second round.
Definitely. I can see your point. That's the one thing. If the jitters get to Stanislav, but like I said, those kind of East European kind of, I'm gonna gut you alive kind of fantasy, you know? I must break you. Those guys don't fold under pressure. Have you seen? They're there to the business and go. They don't care. They're not in there for glitz glamour. This guy's a tough guy, and I go with him. I actually think 3 rounds, maybe a decision, or the third round TKO. But I think the majority it will go to a decision of just taking down and dominating on the ground. Take down, dominate the ground. I'll go Stanislav 3-round decision.
Definitely going to be an interesting fight.
Yeah, definitely. It'll be one of the better fights on the night.
All right, let's move on to the next fight. Ross Pearson is 14-4 in the UFC against Edson Barbosa, 8-0. This is a very impressive prospect.
This is going to be a great fight. I mean, being an Englishman, I want Ross Pearson. Obviously, I'm hoping. I know he's been training in America, training hard. Seen all of his tweets on that. But this is a tough opponent for him, Barbosa. I think is Pearson coming off a loss?
Pearson has won 5 of his last. He has come off of his loss again. I can't remember who his last loss is. But he's not to be taken lightly. He's an aggressive fighter.
He's very good. He's very clinical. Doesn't waste shots. Precise, good shots. But Barbosa's a beast. He's a strong guy the weight. Undefeated.
Very aggressive. Very explosive.
And not only that, he just comes like no care in the world just to do the business. Also, he's got a home crowd.
Yeah.
Which is going to be a huge factor on the night.
Absolutely.
He'll be the first Brazilian fighter on the night maybe. So when that crowd goes, I think it's just going to get behind you. It's like when Bisping fights in London, the crowd just roars, you know.
Yeah.
So I think you're going to see that's going to be a huge advantage. I mean, Pearson's been training hard. He's been training with some good guys. He's been Blackzilla team in the US, so he's come prepared. He's been looking good apparently. So it's a tough fight to call, but honestly, 8-0, nothing to lose. Animal, I've got to go Barboza. I can't see.
Yeah.
I just think the guy is just on one of those trains. He's one of the top prospects in the UFC. I think the guy's special.
Yeah,
he's going to be named to be seen in a few years. He's going to be a top.
He's definitely top 5 contender in his weight class. What I like about this fight is that Barboza is a Muay Thai fighter. He's a Muay Thai practitioner. He's going to come out to bang. Ross Pearson as well is another stand-up fighter who's going to come out to bang. This is going to be one of the most explosive fights on the card, I think.
It's good. Honestly, it could be fight of the night.
Tell me who you got.
My heart, I want Pearson, but Barboza. I think Barboza will knock him out.
I'm going to have to go with you.
It could be knockout. I think it's going to be... I can see Pearson catching him.
Yeah.
Barboza wild coming in to get the crowd gets a bit overexcited. But you understand, you've got to see it the other way. The pressure on Barboza now with the Brazilian crowd 8-0. Pearson's got no pressure.
Yeah.
Pearson's coming to another town. You know what I mean? He's got no pressure at all. So that could work against you. You know, sometimes guys don't like fighting in their own countries. They've got that pressure. You'll fight for us, you know. So it could work against you. But Barboza, knockout, and I honestly think first round. I know it sounds harsh, but I think it's going to be just fireworks. I think the crowd's going to get the momentum of the fight. Yeah. Pearson's going to get drawn in, go, all right, let's stand. But Pearson doesn't care. He'll stand with you. He'll fight. So unfortunately, Barboza first round knockout.
I'm going to go with you, Barboza first round knockout as well.
I hope Pearson. Let's go. Get behind the Brits.
All right, Tam. Let's move on to the next fight. I'm really excited for this one. It's Brendan Schaub, who's 9-1. He's become a top prospect in the heavyweight division. Minotauro Nogueira. This guy is a legend.
Nogueira's a legend.
32 wins, 6 losses, 1 no contest. I mean, this guy's been around. You know, he's the only one to hold a Pride and UFC belt.
Heavyweight title. If you don't know Nogueira, you don't know MMA. Like I say, if you don't know Gracie, you don't know MMA. Nogueira, one of the best ground specialists in the history of MMA. Beat a who's who of them. Like, he's beat Crocop in a fight where he was getting destroyed.
Yep.
Pulled it out.
And he does that, doesn't he? He's such a comeback king.
He's tough. He's got condition. You have to kill him. You have to kill him. Like against Bob Sapp, there's a famous fight. Gets suplex on his head, comes back, pole driving. I think.
Yeah.
Came back, armbarred him. I mean, his fights were fatal. Those wars, the shots he takes. Apart from the Mir fight, he was only
Sylvia, Josh Barnett,
Rico Rodriguez, and it's like he's always doing it. But I love Nogueira. And Schaub, he's like a new young. To be honest, I don't like Schaub as a person. I just don't like the guy. I don't find him exciting. I just find him like a doormat, boring. But the guy's winning. Like Crocop fight, it killed me because these are like my favourites, legends, and unfortunately they're at the end of their careers. Like Crocop should have retired a long time ago.
Exactly.
And I'm not disrespecting him. I think Crocop's one of the greatest, but it's not the real Crocop who fought. That was just Crocop in his peak. It wouldn't have happened.
But let's talk about that. Is that hype legitimate? I mean, is Schaub just cleaning up, shall we say, old garbage?
I wouldn't say garbage. Well, people get guys just at the end of doing. Yeah. Just best before they put it that way.
Best before the expiry date, right? Or is he legitimately a tough fighter?
He's tough. Let's not get it wrong. He's a tough guy, and like a American football background, heavy hands. He took a good Crocop, and him was very close. I think Crocop was winning until that punch anyway, in my opinion. But like, I don't know. I don't see nothing special. I don't see nothing great about his wrestling. His jiu-jitsu, he caught the back of Crocop's head. Crocop's, I think, his conditioning to his punches have gone. Obviously, he's fought wars all his life. That's expected. The guy's a legend, like Chuck goes, like Roy Jones Jr. It happens, you know. You're gonna get caught. He's taken so much, but I just don't think he's nothing spectacular. He might be a contender. He's not in the top 5, in my opinion, in the world. Maybe just about top 10 purely because of his wins. But I mean, his fight against Roy Nelson, I saw him get knocked out. And
it was a bad
Nelson, it was a bad knockout on top of him. But I mean, he's tough. I'm not gonna take away, but I just don't like him as a fighter. But he's a tough guy.
If he takes out Nogueira in this fight, where do you see him going next?
He's got to test himself. I think he's got to fight someone like, a Brock, a Carwin, someone of those statures, you know. He's got to fight maybe Mia, Czech Congo, you know, Pat Barry. Test himself a bit more. That's when we'll really discover him. Nogueira, unfortunately, he's come off the Mia loss. I think it was the last fight. legend, tough guy, but I think, yeah, again, in this fight, he looked really bad, that fight. I think, who was his Nogueira's last fight? Was it Mir or?
It was Mir and he lost. It's been 18 months since Nogueira stepped back into the cage.
That's
a lot
with
of
age,
on, is it?
And also so many wars. He's not that old as people think. He's not like
he's 32 years old.
Yeah.
But he has been.
He's gone through the wars. Yeah. I always used to think he was 45. Yeah, but the guy has gone through battles, and it just. When you start your career so young, it's like in Thailand. These Thai kids, they fight at an early age at 12. They're burnt out by 20. It's the same as Nogueira, and I really hope Nogueira wins. It's his hometown, and the guy's an animal. He's a beast. You have to kill him. I think with the crowd, they're going to go crazy because he's a legend. You never know. My dream would be if like goes to Grand Nogueira, just catches in a triangle or something and just like wins. But I think fresh, big guy, unfortunately short by, unfortunately knockout. I don't think he'll knock out Nogueira cold, but it will stop him. I think he's got heavy hands, he's young. The rust, Nogueira's getting a bit old. But you never know with Nogueira. The guy is a tough guy. You know, he's so tough. Yeah. Hopefully he's had a long break. He might have rejuvenated himself. You never know in this game. But after his last performance, I think he's just getting that. It could be his last fight.
I'm going to have to agree with you. 18 months outside of the cage. You know, with the amount of wars that Nogueira has been through, it's going to be hard to fight a hungry and determined Schaub, and I really think Schaub's going to take this TKO in the second round.
Again, I think Schaub's intimidated. Nogueira's been there, done that, more experienced. Schaub's coming to bandit country, as we say. He's going to come in there, it's going to be crazy. The crowd, when Nogueira comes to the ring, he's going to go wild. It's so hard to call because it depends. Was Nogueira against me, I just wanted one off, or, you know, we don't know, but I honestly think that Schaub's going to win. I hope so, that Nogueira comes in strong. Nogueira somehow gets him to the ground and gets the sub, but you never know. I think if he stands, Schaub's going to knock him out. I think he's too heavy-handed. He can take a shot. He done well against Nogueira. Don't get me wrong, I just don't like him, but he's a tough guy. And Schaub, I honestly think, unfortunately, in the first 2 rounds will be a knockout.
Well, we'll see what happens then.
Yeah.
Let's move on. Let's move on to the next one. Nogueira. That's the jiu-jitsu though.
Yeah. That's an MMA fight. I think he's just great for the sport, and I just don't like Schaub. I find it boring. And I know I'm going to get stick on this website. Who are you, Tam? Your name, but I don't care. I don't like the guy. I find it boring.
All right, Tam, let's move on to the next fight. This is the co-main event. Mauricio Shogun Rua, 19-5 against Forrest Griffin, 18-6. Pretty even scores. This is a great fight. I am loving this one. This one's up there. I mean, Mauricio Rua, who fought John Jones, got demolished, in my opinion. I mean, he got dismantled by Jones. Forrest Griffin is a pretty tough guy. He has taken out Rua before. This is almost the rematch now. Well, it is the rematch.
Yeah, it is.
What is your opinion on this? What do you think? Do you think it's going to be an easy walk in the park for Forrest Griffin?
No, not easy, because Shogun's hungry. He's training Rafael Caldera, his old shootbox coach. I mean, John Jones, it's hard to judge a guy against fighting John Jones because the guy is just an animal. So I think John Jones does that to everyone. So it's like saying what Anderson did. So
he does have a way of making it look stupid, doesn't he?
John Jones has done that to everyone. So can we judge on that fight? Plus Shogun, I think, is injury-free for the first time.
Well, he has just come off of surgery, so usually what we see with Rua is when he comes off surgery, he doesn't really perform to his maximum level.
But I think I've heard the training he's doing well. He's hungry, he's strong. My honest opinion, though, you've got Griffin, a huge light heavyweight. He's huge. I met him in London once at a cage rage event. The guy is massive.
He's pretty strong. He's a 6'3", 6'4".
Great ground, tough stand-up, good wrestling, good camp. Comes to fight. Shogun's gonna have the whole crowd again. He's gonna be hungry. He's game. He's gonna come to fight. It's an interesting fight. Shogun can knock out Griffin if he catches him. If Shogun comes out blazing, catch him. But I've just got a feeling Griffin might take him to the floor, rough him up, and just the size matters. I think Shogun would be perfect at middleweight. I've always been saying this. I just think he's a bit too small for light heavyweight, especially in America. There's some big guys there. Yeah. I think at middleweight he's perfect, game, explosive. But you can never count Shogun out. Against Machida we all did. You know?
That's true.
And Machida's one of the top guys in the world. So this one is hard to call. I'd love to see Shogun get it, but I love them both. I like Griffin. I don't want to see Shogun go out like that, you know, because such a tough guy, dominated the light heavyweight division in Japan for so long. But I think Griffin from size. I think it's going to be a long, grueling fight. I think Griffin by points. But Griffin beat Frank Lady. It wasn't the most exciting fight. Didn't really stand. If it stands, I think Griffin might get knocked out. I can see something.
I could agree with you on that. I mean,
it's a hard fight to call. I mean, Shogun standing with that crowd, coming out blazing. I can see him coming out blazing, but when he does, he's going to commit too much with Griffin getting a takedown easy. So it's how much will he commit without getting taken down.
Who's your final pick for this fight?
Griffin. Decision.
Decision. You know what? I'm going with with Shogun. I really think the crowd, that loss to John Jones may have taught him something. It may have allowed him to work on his ground game. We've seen Hua as a striker. He is vicious. And I think all these fights start standing up. I'm going to go with Hua, maybe second round TKO.
Definitely. I mean, one thing to say about that is when you lose a fight to a certain guy, the guy who wins, he stays the same. The guy who loses has got more to learn.
Absolutely.
So it's actually an advantage for him. He knows
yeah.
where he went wrong, what to do next time. So in a way, Griffin could get comfortable. But I just think the size matters. I think the first fight you saw the difference. He's too big, he outmuscles you, weighs on you. But then again, Griffin apparently Shogun was injured then, so you never know. Shogun could. It's so hard to call. I'm just thinking logically. I think Griffin edged the decision. But
we'll
don't
see.
get me wrong. It could be a Shogun knockout as well. Could go two ways.
Man. Okay, let's go to the last fight. I'm really pumped for this fight. A lot of people are saying this fight shouldn't have been on the card. It's an unfair matchup. The pound for pound best fighter in the world, Anderson Spider Silva against Yushin Okami.
Apparently, there's no pound for pound list. Apparently, it's Chael Sonnen. Pound for pound doesn't exist. So, but the best fighter, I think, the best fighter that ever lived.
Right. Tell us a little bit about Yushin Okami. Last time they fought, Yushin won by disqualification.
Rumble in the Rock. I think it was a BJ Penn show. From an up kick on the floor, when he's grounded knees on the floor for an up kick.
Talk to the fans a bit about how that fight played out.
The first fight they fought a few years ago in a BJ Penn promotion in Hawaii. Anderson was basically dominating the fight, standing. Got taken down by Okami. He took him down actually. Fell in Anderson's guard. Okami tried to stand up to push to punch, and Anderson threw an up kick, which is a heel straight to the chin.
Which is an illegal kick.
Illegal kick if you're grounded. Your knees on the floor. It's not illegal otherwise. He was a grounded opponent, knocked him out. It was disqualified. But Anderson looked comfortable in that fight. But he was taken down, so you never know what could have happened in the fight. Okami is a very good wrestler, tough guy, big middleweight, beats some good names, makes everyone look ordinary. Marco, Evan Tanner,
Alan Belcher.
I mean, he's a beast. But it's Anderson Silva, man. It's like the man. He's Superman. He's like pulls it out. Okami's trained with Chael Sonnen, the guy who nearly beat Anderson Silva, gave Anderson his hardest fight I've ever seen,
and who also beat Yushin Okami. And I mean, I find this is the great thing about MMA. The people that beat you end up training with them, and this is exactly what happened here.
It's a great sport like that. It's like it's no animosity. Hardly, rarely you'll see it. It's just you win, you lose, you get beat. You can beat someone. There's a respect.
And you learn from the people that you
learn.
lose.
It's a lot of the time the talk is just for the cameras and to sell tickets.
Absolutely, yeah.
But this fight, Okami's trained with Chael Sonnen. They've been training hard. Got some good. I saw a few clips on YouTube of sparring. They're looking good. He's a very big guy. Anderson is Anderson. Does it all. I think you got to see it two ways. Okami's got one tool to win,
which is
wrestling.
Which is his
wrestling.
wrestling.
Trying out right muscle on the floor. Anderson's got it all. Submissions on his back. You've seen him tap black belts. Yeah. You've seen him tap Chael Sonnen after 5 rounds of beating. Still to come back after that domination. The last round is to the triangle on. That shows the true heart of a champion. A guy who's it's like a good football team, a soccer team. You have a bad game, you still win 1-0. It shows your class. You always pull it out. That's a champion. You can have a bad day and still win. Anderson, I mean, against Vitor Belfort, I mean, the things he does, you never know.
He's so elusive.
He's got so many tools. Like standing with him, his angle, southpaw, orthodox, his ground, his jiu-jitsu, even his wrestling. I mean, you saw Dan Henderson and what he did to Fedor Emelianenko lately. The only guy to make Dan Henderson look bad, in my opinion, was Anderson.
Absolutely, that's very true.
Dan Henderson's a beast, you know. So the guy, I mean, this fight is tough, and you never know in MMA. Anything can happen, and I'd hate to see. I like them both. I respect them, but I'd hate to see Anderson get caught or something. Maybe the only way I can see Anderson lose is if he's a bit arrogant, hasn't been training, taking it lightly, looking at the future, fighting maybe John Jones or GSP. But man, most electric entrance of all time will be when Anderson comes in Brazil. People love him, especially the people in favelas, the poorer people. Like they all look up to him. He's like a star who's made it from nothing. When he walks in, man, the crowd's gonna go mad. First time he's going to have cheers. He always gets booed in America for some reason, so he's going to have the crowd behind him. Let's see if that brings Anderson a bit more aggressive, but that could be a bad thing because it's going to get suspect for the takedown. But 5 rounds, Anderson's condition's good. You saw against Chael Sonnen, Akami's like a tank. His first 5 rounds, like first title fight, you never know how he's going to handle it.
Yeah.
He's come to bandit country, but yeah, again, Akami always knows that. He fights in America, he doesn't care.
Akami's fought all over the world.
But honestly, I can't see it. I think Anderson Silva is just the greatest fighter in MMA history, I think.
Alright, what is your prediction here?
Anderson Silva by some funky Chun-Li kick.
Yeah,
seriously, Anderson Silva, jokes aside, I can see 2 things. Anderson Silva by a knockout of a knee, catching Akami walking in, he's going to throw a knee, maybe in the 2nd round. Or, you won't be surprised at submission on his back. But
yeah.
he'll get taken down. Anderson Silva will get taken down this fight. Don't be shocked. I think it's going to be the first.
But I think he's expecting that, so we're going to see some jiu-jitsu.
He'll expect that.
We're going to see, like you said, that knee fly.
He has to have trained on his back. He'll be training on his back, and he's got the Nogueira brothers. He's got some good jiu-jitsu sparring. He's got the Machida. They've got some good guys in that camp back out. So you never know.
But do you think we're going to see some crazy, funky kick, and then Steven Seagal's going to walk out and take the credit for it like he always does?
Well, we're all laughing at Steven Seagal. But shit, man, let me get him in my corner because something's working.
Something's working.
Something's working.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm on the phone, so I don't know. Just get like Clint Eastwood or something.
Well, we should just get Van Damme, man.
Yeah, let's get Van Damme, my boy. I mean, he comes to Contender. I'll get Van Damme, do some funky salt of my ass stuff, you know what I mean? But no, I think Anderson Silva. I don't think it'll be something special. I think Okami's expecting anything.
Do you think it'll be a boring fight?
No. Because
that is kind of the
if it was a jiu-jitsu guy, yes, it starts. But with Akami, his game is maybe to pressure Anderson Silva, like Chelsea. That's what he knows. If you don't pressure, you're done. If Anderson Silva delegates the cage, he intimidates you. He does all his nunchucker thing. He'll put you off your game plan and cuts the ring off. You're finished. But if you put the pressure on him, that's the only chance you'll have. And you never know. Swing of the wild few hands. You never know. Akami's gonna go for broke. You can catch anyone. But I don't think it'll be a boring fight. I think with Anderson, it's in Brazil, he's going to go out with a bang, you know what I mean? I'm hoping. I mean, Anderson's a favourite of mine. Old friend, he came here, you remember him when he visited Contender.
Anderson did visit Contender, we took him out. He had a nice little small
very down to earth guy, nice guy, and I think Anderson, man, any way he wants. But, like I said, MMA has shocks, but I'm going with Anderson. 2nd round knockout, he'll catch Okami on a walk-in, on a shoot, maybe a knee, uppercut. But yeah, again, it could be something crazy. But I don't think he'll risk too many high kicks with Okami. Purely because Vitor, these guys are stand-up. With Okami, you've got to shoot. He wants a high kick. Yeah. So with Okami, it could be a short knee or a straight left, some hands. But Anderson, I think Anderson is. I think after this fight is cleared up the division, he has to go. He has to go up or fight GSP or after.
Yeah, we're gonna have to see a super fight soon.
Have to see a
we're gonna have to see Chael Sonnen talk trash to him for the next couple of months, and then they're gonna have to fight.
Chael Sonnen, he's funny, but he just wants to get. There's no point. He beat him. Chael Sonnen.
Do you think we'll see Chael Sonnen in Brazil? Because there has been talk that he's not going to be in Brazil.
Man, you know what?
He's going to get lynched. That's what they're saying.
I don't think they'll lynch him. I think people laugh. I think, man, no one takes him serious, you know? Chael Sonnen is just for fun. It's just to build a hype, and it's good for the sport. I don't care what anyone says. It's good for the sport because it makes it interesting. It's good to have this, you know? Like Muhammad Ali did it, Floyd Mayweather does it. It makes the sport interesting. Not everyone's a Brendan Schaub, you know? So it'll be. I think he'll be there. Honestly, he's that kind of guy. I think you can see his face, smug laughing. But I think he'll bring some security with him because
absolutely.
If he goes anywhere near them favelas, you're dead.
All right. Well, UFC 134 goes live in the States on Sunday. Don't miss it. If you're watching it in Dubai, check it out. Are we doing it at the Media
We're
One?
doing it at Grand Midwest Tower.
Oh, sorry.
Grand Midwest Tower in Media City in Dubai on Sheikh Zayed Road. 5 a.m. it starts. The prelims will be on. It's a breakfast buffet. All the guys from Contender, some fighters will be there. It's only 175 dirhams, so come and check it out, guys. Also, we're starting a new thing for Sports 360, newspaper and magazine and online segment in Dubai, so stay tuned for that. We'll see our blogs on there, giving you reviews, techniques of the week. Anything you want, email us on info@contendermma.com and give us some ideas what you want to see in the region, and we'll come in. We just want to give the fans of the UAE something to, you know, just to give you some interest to see it MMA wise, because there's nothing off it here. We want to bring techniques, want to bring fighters, just entertain the people here, just like I want to be entertained. So stay tuned for more information there. It'll be a good show, stay tuned for that. And also remember, if you want to train MMA in the UAE, the first and only MMA dedicated facility in the UAE in the Middle East is www.contendermma.com. Contender MMA facility.
Don't worry, we're going to show them that. And don't forget, hit him with your Twitter tag, because you gotta follow my man.
Follow me on Twitter.
On Twitter, he's one funny guy.
Twitter.com Tam TAM_Khan. TAM_KHAN. He'll put it on this little screen. You'll have a screen here.
Don't you worry. Yeah, right there.
Right there. Right there.
I'm the MMA ranter. If you want to follow me, follow me. If you don't, that's cool.
Yeah, you'll get updates.
I'm not that important, but I am funny too. We'll check you guys out later for the next episode of In the Cage. See you then.